January 1st comes around and everybody's on that motivation high. New year, new me, all that kindling, catching a little spark. But guess what? By January 10th, 12th, maybe 2 weeks and that fire's out. It's dead. Why? Because motivation is weak if you don't turn it into something stronger. So here's my challenge to you. How far can you push it? Can you take that spark and turn it into something real? Most of you can't. You're all hype until that first alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m. and then it's, oh, I'll skip the gym today. That's when the excuses start. People hit me up all the time, Goggins, I need a workout plan. You know what? I'm done handing out plans. You know why? Because 99% of you are going to waste my fucking time. You'll get the plan and then here come the dumbass questions. What kind of shoes do I need? What kind of watch should I get? Who the fuck cares? Go to the store, buy some shoes and start running your ass into the ground. Stop overthinking it. Merry Christmas. Call me when you've actually done something, when you've lost some weight, when you've built a base. Then we'll talk. Until then, shut the fuck up and get to work. Man, this thing ain't a race between me and some dude next to me. It's a race between me and me. David Goggins versus David Goggins. That's it. Once you figure that out, you silence all that noise, all that clogging your head, and you can finally start to grow. You start to realize I'm stressed out for no reason. This is my timeline, my race. And here's the real thing. I had to stop pretending to be someone I wasn't. I had to face myself, strip away all that fake ass shit I was hiding behind. Stop being scared. Stop bullshitting myself. No growth comes from lies, and none. I was trying to build my life on a foundation of bullshit, lies, and fear. And you can't build a house on a cracked foundation. Hell no. You got to rip it all down, get down to the raw mineral core of who the fuck you are. That's where growth begins. Now, what's the role of suffering in all this? It's the key, man. Suffering strips all that fake ass shit away, all those layers you hide behind. You're left with you, the real you. When you're suffering, when you're uncomfortable, when you're in the middle of the grind, that's when the truth comes out. That's when the unfiltered, no bullshit dialogue between you and yourself happens. You know what I'm talking about? Everyone does. You're in a bad spot in life and your mind starts saying some dark, fucked up shit. That's who you are at your core. Not some fake Rocky Balboa, let's go champ kind of moment. No, it's fuck this, I'm done. I'm out. That's the real shit you got to face. And here's the thing. The growth happens when you stay in that moment. When you sit in the suck and refuse to leave it. As you suffer, you're peeling those layers away, but at the same time, you're building mental calluses. Layer by layer, you toughen the fuck up. That's where the growth happens. When you force yourself to stay, you can't tap out. You can't quit. And let me tell you something about the people who've wronged you about all the unfair shit that's happened. Once you get to a place where you're truly happy with who you are, when you own your shit, nobody can fuck with you anymore. They might try, but it doesn't hit the same. All that bullshit rolls right off you. I used to let every little thing cut me deep. Someone said something, someone did something, man, it fucked me up. But now I've been through so much shit, I don't even feel it. My headspace, I own that shit. A lot of people out here renting their headspace to others. Not me. My mind is mine. And that's freedom. That's power. What do I mean by owning other people's headspace? I'm talking about how most motherfuckers out here are letting their brains get hijacked by bullshit. They're so caught up in what everyone else thinks about them, running all these fake ass narratives in their heads like that's going to make their lives better. Guess what? It ain't. They're more worried about other people's opinions than they are about how they feel about their own damn selves. That's why most people's minds are on fucking rent. They've leased out their thoughts to all this garbage in the world. Social media drama, fear of judgment, you name it. Me. I evicted that shit a long time ago. I'm not renting out my mind to anybody anymore. I put a down payment on my own fucking brain and I'm making payments every damn day. Nobody else owns it. Nobody controls it. This is my shit now. That's what I'm here to do. You don't get peace without going to war with yourself first. That's the truth. I said it in my book and I'll say it again. Go to war with yourself before you even think about peace. It's not a feel-good journey. It's not about putting on a fake-ass smile. It's about doing the real work, the hard, painful, relentless grind that nobody else is willing to do. So if you're ready to face that, to step into the fire instead of running from it, then let's go. Otherwise, stay in the shallow end because the deep water, that's where the real shit happens. But here's where most people fuck up. Motivation. It's fragile. It's like a match. You can snuff it out easy. What you need is to turn that motivation into drive, into obsession, into some all-out, no-holds-barred, can't-turn-it-off inferno kind of shit. When you hit that point, it's not just a fire anymore. It's a damn blaze. You need a fucking army of firefighters to put it out. And even then, they ain't stopping it. The only thing that can stop an inferno like that is itself. It burns so hot, so strong, it consumes everything in its path. That's what obsession feels like. And let me tell you something about obsession. It's self-generated. No one can give it to you. No one can talk you into it or will you into being obsessed. That shit has to come from deep. Deep inside you. It's buried in a place most people never go. They're too scared. They don't want to dig that deep. And society, man, society slaps some weak-ass negative label on obsession like it's a bad thing. Oh, he's too obsessed. Bullshit. To me. That's the highest fucking compliment you can give someone. You call me obsessed. Hell yeah, I'm obsessed, and that's why I'm dangerous. Yeah, obsession can fuck you up. It can ruin your life if you don't know how to harness it. But if you want to be great, truly fucking great, you have to go all in. You have to be willing to be misunderstood. People won't get you. They'll call you crazy, psycho, nuts. They'll question everything you do. Why are you in the gym at 1 a.m. after a 14-hour grind at work? Why are you pushing your body when it's already broken down? They'll never understand. And you know what? Good. I don't want them to understand. If they understood, I'd be just like them and fuck that. When people look at you like you're insane, when they don't get why you're doing what you're doing, that's when you know you're on the right path. You've arrived when you're so far out on the edge, so locked into your obsession that the world thinks you've lost your mind. That's where greatness lives. That's the fucking truth. It's not pretty, it's not balanced, and as sure as hell isn't for everyone. But if you want to be the baddest motherfucker out there, it's the only way. When people stop fucking understanding you, that's when you know you're in the right spot. That's the zone of obsession, drive, and focus where everybody around you is like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And you know what I say? I don't want to talk to you, man. I don't need to cause you're never going to get it. This shit ain't for you. It's all about mindset. That's it. That's the secret sauce. You've got to change the dialogue in your own head. Here's what most people don't understand. Suffering is the key. You've got to look at suffering and failure as your teachers. You can't succeed without them. In suffering and failure, that's where all the answers are. The test is your life, and the answers are written in the pain, the setbacks, the grind. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't have to live in that suffering every day. But you've got to visit it. Just like working out, you're only in the gym for maybe an hour a day. The other 23 hours, that's your time to recover, to reflect, to grow. But that 1 hour in the pain, that's where the magic happens. Most people avoid that shit because it's hard, it's uncomfortable. But guess what? That's where you find out who the fuck you really are. That's where you separate yourself from the rest of the pack. So stop looking for easy. Stop looking for motivation. Look for obsession. Look for drive. And then fucking live there. You want to get in shape. You want to level up in life. Then you've got to visit suffering. You've got to step into the pain. 1 hour a day, that's what it takes. Hit the gym, visit your past failures, dig into that pain every fucking day. The answers you're looking for, they're not in some self-help book or motivational video. They're buried in the suffering, hidden in the pain. That's where you need to go. I call it the live autopsy. You know how they figure out why someone died? They crack you open after you're dead. But why the fuck wait until you're dead to figure out your shit? Do it now while you're alive. Go into your suffering, go into your pain, and start asking the hard questions. Why does this shit hurt me so bad? Why am I scared? Why do I shut down when the world gets tough? Let me tell you something. The reason you shut down, the reason you're stuck on that couch, feeling sorry for yourself, is buried in the scars inside your mind. Those scars, that's where all the answers are. But you're too scared to look. You've got to spend at least an hour a day in that space, digging, analyzing, and studying yourself. That's how you grow. That's how you figure out what the fuck is holding you back. Don't just say, oh, I'm scared of this, or I'm afraid to do that. Fuck that. Study it. Break it down. Why are you afraid? What's behind the fear? That's what I did. I didn't run from my mind. I fucking dove into it. I asked myself, why the hell am I so weak? And you know what I found? I came from hell. I came from a place that beat me down to nothing. That's why I was afraid. That's why I was broken. But instead of hiding from it, I systematically faced it. One by one, I went back to every memory, every fear, every person, every scar. I revisited all the shit that fucked me up and I faced it head on. That's how you take control of your mind. That's how you win. And your mind has the ultimate tactical advantage over you. It knows your scars. It knows your fears. It knows your insecurities. And its whole job is to protect you from that shit. That's why your brain tells you don't jump out of an airplane or don't go back to that memory where your dad beat the fuck out of you. It's a survival mechanism. But it's also holding you back. The brain protects you so much that it stops your growth. Your mind wants to keep you in the safe zone, the comfort zone. It wants to avoid the hard shit. But here's the truth. The brain might be smart, but it's not the boss. You are. You have to take control of your mind, or it will lead you straight to the path of least resistance. And that path, it's soft, it's easy, and it's not where growth lies. The brain doesn't want to be hardened. It doesn't want to revisit the trauma, the scars, or the pain. It just wants peace. But peace without growth is bullshit. You've got to force your mind to go where it doesn't want to go. You've got to train it to endure the pain, to face the suffering, and to grow stronger from it. That's the only way you become unbreakable. You've got to learn to break those big, painful ass moments in life into their smallest pieces. Life is going to throw some heavy, brutal shit at you, but your brain, it can't handle the big picture of hours and hours of suffering. That's too much. But what it can handle is the right now. Like I'm in the Pacific Ocean, it's cold as fuck. And this is what I'm doing. That's it. Don't think about anything beyond that moment. I learned this lesson the hard way through Hell Week. Not just one, but 3 fucking Hell Weeks. I went through Ranger School Buds and all these other brutal military programs just to understand how the mind processes pain and suffering. There are 2 types of people when it comes to this shit. Theorists and practitioners. A theorist reads a book, talks about mental toughness, but they don't live it. They're just reciting someone else's words. Then there's the practitioner. That's me. I live this shit. I didn't just want to talk about mental toughness. I wanted to master it to go beyond the limits of what people think is possible. And the only way to do that, you've got to throw yourself into hell over and over again and study how your mind reacts. That's where the growth happens. You've got to learn to slow your mind down in the middle of chaos because the mind wants to speed the fuck up and escape the pain. It doesn't want to process suffering. It wants out. Man, when I was younger, I didn't know how to handle the moment. The pain, the fear, the discomfort, it all became too big. And when it got too big, I spazzed the fuck out and quit. But now, I don't even think about what's ahead. I don't think, oh, in an hour, I'll be warm and eating. Nope. I stay right here in the suffering. I embrace it because that's what it takes to lead, to grow, to win. Here's another thing I learned. When you stop thinking about yourself, the pain disappears. I was a boat crew leader during Hell Week. 6 guys in my boat, including me. And as a leader, it wasn't just about me surviving. It was about making sure my team made it through. When you focus on the people around you, your brothers, your sisters, your crew, your mind stops giving a fuck about how cold, tired, or miserable you are. So instead of thinking, get the hell out, Goggins, my mind shifted to how's John holding up? How's Andy? How's Sam? How's Pete? That's all I cared about. And when your focus is on taking care of the people around you, your pain becomes irrelevant. You got to learn how to get the fuck out of your own head, man. You've got to step back and let your body become a damn machine. But here's the thing. Your mind is the driver and it's got to learn how to process all the different tactics you're throwing at it. When you're in the middle of the suck, buried in hell, you can't see shit. You're too deep in the pain to realize what the hell you're doing or how far you've come. So what do? You take a different vantage point. Get your ass up that mental mountaintop and look down on what you're doing. See the bigger picture. Yeah, it fucking hurts right now. But when you take that higher perspective, you can see the beauty in it. You're in the middle of transforming yourself, man. You're in the process of becoming something unstoppable. But you can't see that when you're stuck in the trenches. Get your soul out of the grind for a second, look at yourself from above, and realize how badass this journey is. Here's the thing. We all have that voice in our head, right? Some people call it God, the Holy Spirit, or intuition. Whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's there. That voice is telling you what's right, what's wrong, and where you need to go. But most people, they don't fucking listen. They ignore that voice. And the more you ignore it, the further away it gets. Eventually, the only voice you hear is your own. And let me tell you, when you're the only one you're listening to, you're probably wrong as fuck. That voice. It's there to guide you. And guess what? The path is pointing you toward that uncomfortable ass road you don't want to take. That's usually the right fucking one. It's the path you're afraid of, the one that makes you question yourself, the one that makes your stomach turn. That's where the growth is. But you've got to stop listening and pay attention. When life gets crazy and you're running on fumes, your mind starts firing off alarms. It's telling you, hey, you're doing too much. That's when you've got to slow your ass down. It's like I say, the 1 second decision. When your mind is spinning, your schedule is packed, and you've got no time to even fucking think. That's the moment you need to stop and take a hard look at what's going on. I've been there, neglecting the people I care about, skipping my disciplines, eating like shit, skipping workouts, not reading or learning. When you start neglecting one thing, it's a slippery slope. Neglect one and the rest follow, and before you know it, your whole damn life is out of whack. That's why I pay attention. I'm always watching for the signs. When my eating is off, when my sleep is trash, when my focus is slipping, that's when I hit the brakes and reset, because those little disciplines, they're the foundation of who the fuck I am. But here's the thing, you don't just wake up one day with a warrior mentality. Some people are lucky. They're born into a tough environment. They've got that hard-ass dad pushing them, teaching them discipline and mental toughness. That wasn't my story. I had to build it myself. I had to create my own crucible, my own hell, and throw myself into it again and again to forge that warrior mindset. This isn't about being soft. It's about designing a fucking life that makes you hard as nails. You build your own path to toughness. You create the crucibles that burn away the weakness. That's how you earn the right to call yourself a warrior. Stop running, stop hiding, and face the grind head on. That's the only way to win. When I talk about having a warrior mentality, people hear me and think, Goggins, you're out of your damn mind. You're crazy. But listen, man, not everyone is built for the life I've lived. God didn't put all of us here to bake cookies and sing fucking kumbaya. Some of us were put here to do the dangerous, dirty ass work that keeps this country safe. Love it or hate it, that's the truth. And I'm one of those people. You want to know what that mentality looks like. Imagine this. You're in a 10 by 10 room. You've got a weapon in your hand. You're standing outside a door. You have no fucking clue what's behind it. Could be in Alaska, 47 pointed right at your face. Or maybe it's a kid with a bomb strapped to him. Doesn't matter. You've got a job to do. A SEAL's job is to open that door, walk in, and say, surprise, motherfucker. We're here. No hesitation. No fear. You're going ready to face whatever is on the other side. That's what I call a callous mind. And I didn't just wake up with that mindset. Becoming a SEAL was just the start. I kept sharpening that mental blade. That's why I run these insane ultra races like Badwater. Sure, part of it was raising money, but the selfish part, that was me building my own crucible. At mile 60, when your feet are covered in blisters, your shins are screaming, your body's breaking down. That's the moment that tests who the fuck you really are. You're in the middle of 135 miles and you've got 70 more to go. What are you going to do, Goggins? Quit? Hell no. That's where the warrior mentality kicks in. Man, all the shit you've done in life, all the work, all the suffering, it builds to that one moment where everything gets stripped away and you're left staring at the raw, unfiltered version of yourself. That's when your character is revealed. Are you the kind of person who folds? Or are you the one who fights back, who grinds it out, who says, fuck this pain, I'm pushing through? But here's the thing, man. Most people don't make it to that point. They set these big ass goals. I want to run Badwater. I want to be a millionaire. I want to do an Ironman. Great goals, right? But then they quit. Why? Because they skipped the most important step. Looking in the accountability mirror. You want to take on a big challenge? Fine. But first you better deal with all the shit inside you that's holding you back. I'm talking about your insecurities, your fears, all the crap you've buried deep down. Because the moment you step into the crucible, all that shit is coming to the surface. And if you haven't faced it yet, it's going to fucking destroy you. That's why so many people quit in Hell Week. Quit chasing their dreams, quit on their damn lives. They didn't deal with their demons before they walked into the fire. You want to survive the fire. You want to thrive in the fire. You've got to strip yourself barefaced, all your bullshit, and build that warrior mentality from the ground up. That's what I do every damn day. It's not about the medals or the accolades. It's about who I'm becoming in the process. Every door I kick down, every mile I run, every battle I face, it's all about proving to myself who the fuck I am. And you can do the same. But first, you've got to step into the crucible and stop running from your pain. That's where the growth is. That's where the warrior is born. You could be the most physically fit motherfucker on the planet. But let me tell you something. If you haven't dealt with your mind, if you haven't faced your insecurities, your jealousies, all that shit from your childhood and everything in between, it's going to come for your ass. It's going to show up at the worst possible time, like when you're in the middle of some brutal race and your mind starts whispering why. Why the fuck are we doing this? That's when you'll quit if you're not ready. What keeps a person in the fight isn't just their muscles or their physical prep. It's their purpose. Purpose is the glue that holds you together when everything else is falling apart. And let me be crystal fucking clear. Leave your ego at the damn door. Ego will destroy you every single time. It will break you. It will convince you to quit, to back down, to walk away. Ego is the enemy playing. It's simple. I've been able to survive and thrive because I know exactly who the hell I am. I was a scared, stuttering, uneducated kid who had nothing. Zero. And I didn't run from that. I looked myself in the mirror and called myself out on all my bullshit. I held myself accountable for who I wasn't and decided who I wanted to be. That's the difference. Everyone's journey is different, no doubt. But my journey was about finding out who David Goggins really is. And let me tell you, that journey took me straight into some of the darkest, hardest places a human can go. It broke me over and over again. But every time I climbed out of that pit, I got stronger. Now, at 43, I'm the happiest motherfucker alive. Not because life is easy, but because I earned this shit. I climbed out of hell so many damn times. And now I can look back at where I came from and be proud as hell of the man I've become. That vision, that's what kept me going. When I was that broken kid getting my ass kicked by life with no self-esteem and no hope, I used to imagine this future version of me. I'd think, what if I could make it? What if I could become someone I'm proud of? And now here I am. I can look back on my life, on all the pain, all the struggle, and say, damn, Goggins, you fucking did it. But here's the thing. Most people won't get it. They'll see your drive, your fire, your passion, and they'll label you as crazy. They won't understand why you're out here pushing yourself to the brink, because they've never found their purpose. When you live with purpose, when you're chasing something bigger than yourself, people don't know how to handle that energy. So they try to box you and call you insane, tell you to slow down. But fuck that noise. I'm not crazy, I'm passionate. I found my purpose, and it's not my job to explain it to people who don't even understand what passion feels like. They can think what they want, but I know the truth. I'm out here living my life with fire, with purpose, with everything I've got. And that's what it's all about. Why? Because I had to create Goggins. David Goggins was a weak little kid, soft as hell, scared of the world and running from life. So I built someone else. I created Goggins. Goggins is the guy standing here now, the guy talking. David Goggins was that kid who got bullied, who let life beat him down. I fucking hated that kid. So I killed him. I killed that version of myself and built something harder, something unstoppable. Man, none of this was about external shit. I didn't give a damn about money, awards, medals, bad water, or ultra running. All that shit was just the battlefield I used to forge. The only thing that mattered, the internal, my soul, my pride, my unbreakable will. People get it twisted. This wasn't about impressing anyone. This was about one thing, being proud of who I fucking am. Most people live a damn lie. I was living one too, and I couldn't stand it. The lie was that I was nothing, and I knew it. I felt it in my bones, but I refused to stay there. I needed to be something. I needed to walk into a room and know without a doubt that I earned the right to hold my head high. In 2013, I walked 105 miles. My body was wrecked. I spent 7 hours in the damn car during that walk because I was so fucked up. People asked me, why didn't you quit? You could have killed yourself. Listen, it wasn't about quitting or dying. Don't get it twisted. It was about answering the call. The challenge was simple. Do your damn best no matter what that looks like. And when I realized my best for that day wasn't the best I'd envisioned, I didn't quit. I fucking recalibrated. God gave me that day. He gave me that broken down body. So I took it. I said, all right, let's reset. Let's walk 105 miles of pure hell. And that's what I did. It was horrible. It was dark, but it was mine. And I found something in it. I found joy, peace, strength. I owned that suffering. I turned it into my weapon. At mile 70, I was in a place I'd never been before. Broken, beat down. Most people would stop and they'd have every reason to. But I'm not most people. I asked myself one question. What if? What if I could go 30 more miles in this state? What if I could take this suffering and use it? I wasn't thinking about some damn foundation. Fuck that. I'm human. I went dark. I went to that barbaric place where pain doesn't scare you. It fuels you. I had to embrace it. Mile by mile, I had to flip the narrative. Instead of fear, I chose power. I told myself, what if I finish this thing? What if I prove that I can keep going when every part of me says no? And that what if, that vision of crossing the finish line, it kept me alive. It lit a fire inside me that most people will never understand. This isn't for everyone. This is about having the guts to face the darkest parts of yourself and come out the other side as something you never thought you could be. That's Goggins. Right now, a lot of us are being forced into solitude, stuck in our homes, our apartments, wherever the hell we live. But it's not just physical solitude. We're being forced to sit alone with our own damn minds, and for most of you, that's the scariest part. Life is the most brutal endurance sport ever created, and here's the thing. There are no fucking timeouts. You don't get to wave your hand and have someone bail you out. You don't get a break. Life's going to keep coming at you relentless as hell. And that's exactly why you need to flip it on its head. You've got to learn to love that fight, love that chaos. Because that's the game, and the only way to win is to stay in it. This is the shit you've been running from your whole life. Most of you spend your days hiding behind distractions. Your phone, your job, your bullshit excuses. All just noise to drown out the voice inside you. Well, guess what? That noise is gone now. It's just you and your thoughts. And I know what's happening. You're scared of what you see. You're scared to face the parts of yourself you hate, the parts you've been ignoring. But now's the time, motherfucker. This is your moment. Stop looking for a damn hero. No one's coming to save you. Be your own damn hero. Grab a pen and paper, sit your ass down and start writing. Look inside yourself and confront the ugly truth. This is where you figure out who the hell you are. Don't run. Don't run. Don't hide. Life is fragile, and when you die, and you will, you better damn well know you live with purpose. Don't waste this time. Use it to become someone you can be proud of. Now, the first thing you've got to do is calm your mind. Don't let that bitch take over. Here's the trick. Tell yourself I might quit, but not right now. Give your mind a little room to breathe, trick it into thinking it's got control. It's like giving a kid a cookie. Just enough to settle it down so you can think. Because if you're in a panic spazzing out, you're not in control. That's when you make your worst decisions. I know because I've been there. My mind's told me a million times, this sucks, we're done. Let's get the fuck out of here. But I didn't listen. I calmed it down and stayed in the fight. Once you're calm, that's when the real work begins. You've got to dig into the cookie jar. That's what I call it. It's your fuel, your reserve tank of strength. Look back on all the shit you survived before. Remember the times you thought you couldn't go on, but you fucking did. That's your power. That's what gets you out of the chair and moving forward. For me, I think about my childhood, my past, all the pain I've endured. That's my fire. I've been in hell before and I walked out stronger. So when shit gets tough, I reach into that jar and pull out the proof that I've got what it takes. It's a process, step by step, day by day. Back in the day, my motivation was simple. I wanted to destroy the weak-ass version of myself. I looked in the mirror and hated what I saw. I was soft, scared, and nowhere near my potential. So I went to war with myself. Hurdle after hurdle, I started to see what was possible, started to unlock that superhuman potential we all have buried deep inside. It's there, but most of you are too comfortable to fucking find it. Now I'm 43 years old. I've done it all. 21 years in the military, retired, ran insane races, broke records, and pushed myself beyond what anyone thought was possible. I can stop. I've got nothing left to prove. But here's the thing. It's not about me anymore. It's about being a leader. And being a leader, that's one of the hardest, shittiest jobs in the world. Because if you're going to tell people to do something, you damn well better be out there doing it yourself. You can't just talk it. You have to live it. That's what keeps me going now. That's why I still get up every single morning and put in the work. I don't sit around reminiscing about who I used to be. I don't care about the pull-up records, the 100-mile runs, or the 200-mile runs. If I'm not still that guy, then I don't get to talk about it, period. That's why I prioritize winning in the morning. It sets the tone for the whole damn day. Every morning, without fail, I get up and run. I haven't missed a day since December 2016. Not one. I also stretch 2 to 3 hours a day. That's 6 years with only 2 missed days. 4 days a week, I'm in the gym lifting because you can't just be a runner. You need to be strong, period. My life is monotonous as hell and I love it. Discipline is built in the monotony. Most people quit because it's boring, because it's hard, but that's exactly where the magic happens. I'm not telling you to live like me. I don't give a fuck if you don't. But this is my standard. This is how I build the discipline that keeps me alive and keeps me moving forward. When I was in the military, it didn't matter if we came off an op at 1 a.m., my ass was in the gym by 10 every single day. I gave 100% no excuses. That's what I'm proud of. Even after 2 heart surgeries, even with everything I've been through, deployments training, being a SEAL instructor, I never let up. Most people hit a milestone like SEAL training and think they've made it. Not me. Every single day I lived like it was day 1, week 1 of buds. That's the mindset that separates the weak from the strong. The moment you get comfortable, you're fucked. Even the toughest people in the world fall into that trap. That's why I don't miss a thing. Because life doesn't give a shit about your excuses. It's hard as hell to keep going when you're already carrying a heavy load, but that's when you find out what you're really made of. You've got to be a good individual first. Everything else comes after that. You've got to triple down on your weaknesses, plain and simple. Most people want to lean on someone else, rely on their buddy to pick up the slack when they fall short. But guess what? That buddy might not always be there. And when you're alone, you better be a jack of all trades and a master of all trades. You've got to have their back, but more importantly, you've got to have your own back. That starts with working on yourself every damn day. No excuses. This is where we're slipping up now, especially in the military. We've lost that raw, relentless accountability. Boot camp, SEAL training, all that shit. It sucks.
Yeah.
But that's what builds the foundation. That robotic, locked-in discipline you had when you left boot camp. Most people let that shit fade. You get comfortable, you get soft. Your walk gets lazy, your standards start to slip, and before you know it, you're just another average motherfucker. The military gives you tools, codes, morals, discipline. But those tools don't maintain themselves. It's a muscle. You stop working it, you lose it. The biggest thing I learned, never stop sharpening the blade. Boot camp, SEAL training, whatever the hell you went through, it's not a one and done deal. You've got to carry that discipline forward every single day, like it's day one. No breaks. I wasn't always this guy. Back in rescue training, when shit got hard, I'd spaz out. My mind would lose control and I'd quit. That's the old me. But through the pain, I learned something. Control your mind or your mind controls you. Emotion is the enemy. You've got to calm the fuck down, strip away the panic, and take it step by step. I remember hitting mile 70 during a race. I was in the worst shape of my life, dizzy, dehydrated, pissing myself, shitting myself, body broken. Every part of me screamed to quit. But I didn't quit. Not yet. First step, get some hydration, salt, potassium, fuel. The dizziness started to fade. Next step, see if I can stand up. I stood. Then I asked, what's next? I didn't think about the 30 miles I had left. Fuck that. I focused on what was right in front of me. I'd already run 70 miles. Before that, the furthest I'd ever gone was 26 miles years ago in Guam. I thought, damn, I've already crushed my old limits. That's something. That little bit of positivity gave me the push to keep going. So I walked. 1 mile turned into 2, then 3. By mile 81, my crew told me I wasn't going to make the time. I said, fuck that. Let's run. And I ran those last 19 miles. Here's the hard truth. Most people spend their whole damn lives scratching the surface, never digging deep enough to find out what they're truly made of. I used to be like that man, stuck in my own head trap behind this massive wall my mind built every time shit got hard. That wall only gets bigger when you hit pain, suffering, and discomfort. Your mind screams it's time to quit. But I figured something out. If you can find a way around that wall, if you can break that shit down, you unlock a whole new level. That's what happened to me in this race. That's when everything changed. To do that, I had to create someone else. See, David Goggins was a weak, scared kid. Soft as hell, introverted, got his ass kicked all the time. I was the guy who lied just to make friends, desperate to be accepted. But that version of me wasn't going to survive. So I invented someone new. I created Goggins. Goggins isn't that soft kid. Goggins is the motherfucker who walks out of the phone booth like Superman ready to take on the world. Sometimes it's like there are two people inside me. I'll have these conversations between David Goggins and Goggins and Goggins. David will be like, man, why the hell are you doing this crazy shit? You're out of your mind. And Goggins just laughs and keeps pushing. That's the battle. Finding more of yourself, and the real you wants comfort, wants to stay safe, wants to hear the easy lies instead of the brutal truths that make you better. That's where it all started for me. And I know when people hear this, they'll try to slap some title on me. They'll say, oh, Goggins is just a freak of nature. He's got something special the rest of us don't have. That's their way of giving themselves an out, a get out of jail free card. Let me tell you right now, that's a load of bullshit. I didn't find some magical part of my brain that unlocked superhuman abilities. Every single day I wake up dreading what I know I have to do. I don't want to face it. I don't want to go to war with myself. But I do it anyway. That's the difference. It's not about being gifted or special. It's about showing up every damn day no matter how much you hate it. You don't get better by staying comfortable. You don't break through the wall by patting yourself on the back. You tear that wall down brick by brick, and it's fucking painful. But on the other side of that pain, that's where the real you is waiting. Man, let me tell you something. I don't need shit to get going. I invented this thing a long ass time ago called taking souls. When you're in the grind, when you're fucked up, exhausted, weak as hell, and you look around and everyone else is dragging their sorry asses too. That's when I flipped the switch. That's when I decide it's time to fucking dominate. It's not just about surviving. No, it's about making a damn statement. When I'm in that moment, I'm thinking about quitting. I'm thinking I'm going to show you exactly where you end and I fucking begin. I look around at all the misery on their faces, all their weakness, all their poopy pants bullshit, and I use it. I don't just survive off my own strength. I feed off their fucking despair. That's my fuel. Their suffering lights my fire, and I make it my mission to do something so insane, so beyond what anyone expects, that it leaves them shaking their heads, asking how the fuck is he doing this? And when I see that look, when I see that disbelief in their eyes, it's like pouring jet fuel on a damn bonfire. That's my moment. That's when I surge. That's when I find a gear they didn't even know existed. And I leave them in the dust, wondering how the hell I just crushed their souls. But here's the thing. This shit doesn't come easy. That little bitch voice in your head, the one screaming about how much it hurts, how tired you are, how bad you want to quit. That voice is fucking loud. It's deafening. And if you let it, it'll run your life. But you've got to find a way to shut it down. Not by ignoring it, but by facing it. You've got to be calm in the chaos. You've got to stare that voice down and say, not today, motherfucker. I remember when I was 297 pounds of fat, lazy shit, working for Ecolab spraying for cockroaches, making $1,000 a month. I thought I was trying hard back then. Can you believe that? I actually thought that was me giving 100%. That's the scariest part. That I thought that version of me was all I had. If I hadn't changed, that would have been my life, fat, mediocre, and dying slowly one damn wasted day at a time. But I flipped the script. I lost 106 pounds, became a Navy SEAL, and fucking rewrote what I thought was possible. And you know what I realized? That fat, lazy piece of shit wasn't even close to his potential. He wasn't trying hard. He didn't even know what hard fucking looked like. So if you think you're maxed out right now, let me tell you something. You're fucking lying to yourself. You've got more. You've got so much more than you can imagine. But you've got to go to war with that voice in your head, with your excuses, with your weakness. And when you do, that's when you take souls. That's when you find out what the fuck you're really made of. Man, there's a voice in your head that's been running your life. That little bitch voice that tells you you're not shit. You'll never be shit. And most people, they tune it out. They run from it, try to live in some fake ass comfort zone where everything's sunshine and rainbows. But let me tell you something, that voice isn't your enemy. That voice is the truth, and you're scared of it because it's calling you out on your bullshit. This isn't about putting yourself down or hating who you are. It's about fucking honesty. That voice isn't there to destroy you. It's there to wake your ass up. It's saying, hey, dumbass, you're leaving 80% of your potential on the table. You've been coasting at 20%, hell, maybe 40% on a good day, and you think you're crushing it. Fuck that. The rest of that untapped 80% is locked behind pain, suffering, failure, self-doubt, darkness. And guess what? That's exactly where the light is too. But you're too damn scared to go through the shit to get to the light. And that's the problem. You know what you need to do. Don't sit there and ask me, Goggins, how do I do it? You already fucking know how. It's not a secret. It's not a magic trick. It's about doing the shit you don't want to do over and over again until it becomes your new normal. When that alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m., what's the first thing your mind says? Hell no, not today. But you don't listen to that shit. You just say, this is what we do now. No negotiation. No excuses. You don't have to love it. You don't even have to like it. You just fucking do it because that's the price you pay to get where you want to go. Here's the truth. The path to where you want to be is paved with doing shit you don't want to do. And guess what? You're going to do it a hell of a lot more than the shit you actually enjoy. That's the deal. That's the fucking ticket to the show. And when you do it enough, it becomes who you are. It becomes automatic, like breathing. You don't think about breathing. You just fucking do it. That's how you've got to approach your life. Most people want to stay comfortable. They don't want the pain. They don't want the grind. But you can't find toughness, you can't find greatness in a comfortable environment. It doesn't fucking exist. I know because I looked for it. I searched every corner of comfort and it wasn't there. If you want it, you've got to earn it. Not once, not twice, every single day. That's how you go from 20% to 100%. It's not fun, it's not pretty, but it's the only way. You know what to do. Stop making excuses and just fucking do it. The only way to truly find it is to throw yourself into the deep end where you're completely out of your element, where you're drowning in life, gasping for air, barely holding on. And in that moment, instead of quitting, you say, fuck that. I'm going to figure this shit out. If I can't swim, I'll fucking backstroke, doggy paddle, or do whatever the hell it takes to survive. That's when you start to engage parts of your mind you've never touched before. But you don't unlock that shit by sitting in a comfy chair sipping on some fancy water and talking about what you wish you could do. No, that's not where growth happens. Growth happens when you're suffering, when you're forcing your brain to operate at a level it's not used to. Man, you've got to take charge. Tell your brain where you want to go and how you're going to get there. Don't give it a choice. Back when I started, there was no Google, no hacks, no shortcuts. All I had was one rule. Work fucking hard. I couldn't even spell Google, but I knew one thing. If I wanted to make it, I had to figure it out through pure grind. I couldn't pass a test, couldn't remember shit from a paragraph. So what did I do? I read it again. Didn't get it. Read it again. Still didn't get it. Write that shit down over and over and over until it finally stuck. I didn't stop until I got it. That's how it works. You keep showing up no matter how many times you fail, until your brain has no choice but to adapt and overcome. You don't give yourself an out. You don't negotiate. You just go back and back and back until your mind gets the message. This motherfucker doesn't quit. Back in the day, I lived in a $7 a month piece of shit. And you know what? At the time, I didn't know any better. That was my normal. I didn't have shit to compare it to, so I loved it. Then we moved to a $236 a month place. And I was like, fuck. I never want to go back to that hole again. But here's the thing. If you find yourself back in that $7 a month shithole and you tell your mind, this is it. This is home now, your brain will adjust. It'll say, Roger that. This is where we live. Let's fucking deal with it. That's what I mean when I talk about the new norm. Every day I woke up and put on my suit and tie to go straight into hell. Suffering became my job. Shin splints, stress fractures, broken feet, duct tape holding me together. That was my new normal. My mind started saying, if we're not broken, we're not doing it right. Broken is how we roll. And guess what happened? My mind got tougher. It got calloused. People ask me, how the fuck did you keep running on broken feet? Simple. My mind knew there was no way out. This was how we operate. In Navy SEAL training, I didn't just survive hell, I became it. I became the devil for a while because that's what it took to own that space. There was nothing outside those walls of pain and suffering. I made hell my fucking kingdom. I became the CEO. The boss, the one in charge of the hardest training on earth. That's how you win. You don't just endure, you fucking own it. You give yourself no escape, no option to quit. When you sit alone in that dark room and you really look at your life, where you started all the shit you've been through, you've got two choices. You can sit there and feel sorry for yourself, or you can flip it. You can look at all the hell you came from, your mom, your dad, the lies, the abuse, the struggles, and think how fucking good is it going to feel to accomplish this goal. Most people start on third base. They've got a good foundation, a head start. But what if you started at rock bottom? What if you had nothing? No legs, no hope, no shot. And you clawed your way up from the dirt? What if you surpassed every motherfucker who had a head start? That's the power in starting from nothing. I took all the negative shit in my life, the pain, the abuse, the failures, and I used it as fuel. I stopped looking at it as weakness and started seeing it as my fucking edge. The darkness wasn't my enemy. It was exactly what I needed. But here's the catch: you can't fix shit until you accept it. Too many people walk around saying, I'm good, I'm fine, when they're not. You've got to look at yourself and admit, I'm fucked up. Only then can you start to rebuild. Here's the truth. You've got to own your shit first. Period. People don't want to do that because it's hard as fuck to look in the mirror and admit you're broken. But that's the only way you can fix it. You've got to accept where you're at before you can even think about starting the journey. And that's why most people never even get off the starting line. They're out here living fake ass lives, pretending to be something they're not, acting like they've got it all together when deep down they haven't fixed a damn thing. You can't move forward until you deal with your baggage. You've got to look at all the shit holding you back and attack it one piece at a time. That's why I made my list. A cold, hard inventory of everything wrong with me. Once you start fixing that list, you stop giving a fuck about how people judge you. And when you stop caring about their opinions, that's when the journey begins. But if you're stuck worrying about what other people think, you're going to stay exactly where you are. No forward momentum. Here's the key. Don't look at that massive list of shit you need to fix and let it overwhelm you. You can't think, oh man, I've got to change all this shit. No, fuck that. Take one thing, just one, and focus on it. For me, it was intelligence. I had to get smarter. I had a severe learning disability. I couldn't retain shit. So I picked that one thing and strategized. I knew I wasn't going to learn like everyone else. My brain didn't work like theirs. I had to figure out my own way. I broke it down. Where are my strengths? Where are my weaknesses? How the fuck am I going to do this? And then I went to work. To this day, when I have to learn something, I still follow that process. If I have a huge manual to study, I don't just skim it and hope for the best. I buy a stack of spiral notebooks and I write down every single page over and over. 10 times if I have to. Back when I was preparing for dive school, I got my hands on the 1,000-page manual 18 months early. Why? Because I knew it would take me that long to learn it. Most people would have said, I'm not smart enough for this. Let's just wing it. But not me. I thought, okay, I'm not smart. How do I beat this? How do I find a way through? And I did. I wrote that shit down so many times that when the questions came up, I could recall exactly what page it was on. I knew that manual inside out because I put in the fucking work. On the other side of suffering is a whole world most people will never see. It's a world where you find out who the fuck you are. You don't find yourself in comfort. You find yourself in the pain and the grind and the struggle. That's where the truth lives. Stay hard.